On tonight's CTV News, strong words from a councillor demanding the insurance industry steps it up. Work on the controversial Avon River precinct finally gets underway. And what's become of the schools that were given the axe by the government? Broadcasting across Canterbury from the CTV studio, this is First at 5. This is CTV News. Good evening, I'm Chris Lynch. Well, who could forget the frustration and outrage from parents and teachers following the closure of schools across our city? More than a dozen were given the axe by an unflinching Education Minister, Hekia Parata. But now the dust has settled. CTV News went back to the affected schools to see what's happened.
Last year's final assembly was more like a funeral for the Kendall School community as it mourned more than 50 years of learning. Kendall School closed because of a declining student population. What was once one of the largest schools in the South Island, with more than 1,000 pupils, had been reduced to a school of 59 students. Elsewhere in Christchurch, a similar scene was played out at 8 different schools. Many were closing because of earthquake damage, but others were suffering from declining rolls also. Manning, Branston and Linwood Intermediates, Glenmore, Richmond and Green Park schools also shut their doors for the final time, and Burwood and Windsor schools closed and merged together, forming a new school. Altogether, 22 schools will be merging or closing. The changes will be implemented over the next few years. However, as CTV News found out, the closure of a school doesn't always mean it will disappear straight off the map. In some cases, demolition has already started. However, many of the now closed schools are being used by various community groups and government agencies. Others have been set aside to house students whose own schools are rebuilding. Over the next week, we will highlight how several of the schools are being used, starting with Linwood Intermediate tonight.
Linwood Intermediate was one of the first schools to close following the reshuffle, but it didn't stay closed for long. You see, over the next 5 to 10 years, it will be a temporary home for several Christchurch schools. As the rebuild continues, here's Marcus Gibbs.
Linwood Intermediate, but not as its former students remember. Māori immersion school Te Kuta Kaupapa Māori o Waitaha has moved on to the site, transforming the classrooms and bringing the Māori culture to Linwood Intermediate.
It just felt like it was like not our school. It didn't feel like home.
So you made it home?
Yeah.
In time.
Our philosophy and values are portrayed through the significance of our ancestors and their designs and everything.
When we first came here, it kind of looked lifeless, but our school put more life into it.
During school time, the students and teachers only speak Te Reo Māori. The culture is an important part of teaching and learning here. Since Te Whare Kura School moved in, the walls have been covered in traditional artwork.
As you can see, we've painted it and had a bit of reclamation there so that restoration can start and then rejuvenation when we go back to school.
Do you feel like it's your own school now?
Yeah, we do, but we all miss the old school, the old building.
The sounds of Te Whare Kura now fill the halls as the students make this school their own.
They understand the concept. We go as one, we go as a whānau, and the culture is just part and parcel of what families bring. That's their values, that's the essence of who they are that makes them feel they're safe.
Te Whare Kura School will continue working out of Linwood Intermediate until the end of the year, while 12 buildings at its St Martin's site are rebuilt following earthquake damage, leaking and mould.
They're here enjoying a fantastic facility while their buildings get upgraded and redeveloped, and they'll roll in next year.
Over the next few years, at least 3 other schools will be based at this Linwood site, using it as a decanting site.
Again, we've got a lot of redevelopment of schools on the east side of Christchurch where this facility will be an opportunity for them to use.
Another option is for the school to work out of temporary classrooms. Relocatable buildings can be moved onto the school site while work is carried out. However, each classroom costs between $80,000 and $200,000. So far, more than 130 relocatable teaching spaces have been used since the earthquakes. By moving to an existing school while work is carried out, more than $1 million can actually be saved.
Well, it's the beauty of an option like this is actually the costs that we would have put into a relocatable on a temporary one on a school can go back into modernising that school to make sure it's safe for the kids and have a modern learning environment.
Richmond and Kendall schools, along with Manning Intermediate, are also proposed to be used as decanting sites as the Education Minister's Christchurch School Rebuild program continues. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
More pressure is going on the insurance industry. A Christchurch City Councillor is calling for a deadline for all insurance claims in Canterbury. But will they actually listen? Joelle Batista with this story.
Tired, stressed and uncertain. Words used to describe Cantabrians' well-being 4 years on from the September earthquake. Health research released in June reveals residents still waiting for insurance claims to be settled struggle the hardest. 46% of waiting residents feel life is full of uncertainty compared to 28% who have had their claims settled. Councillor Glenn Livingston says in his Burwood Pegasus ward, many problems people face relate to insurance.
We know with the Residential Advisory Service, which the council helped set up because we pushed on insurance, that the two biggest things are health and age in a lot of our wards around the city. I know in my ward it kind of leads the way over those insurance issues.
Councillor Livingston says a deadline for insurance claims to be settled may be the solution.
I would actually like a deadline put on insurance claims, a once and for all deadline by the Minister to say that's it, all claims need to be resolved by e.g. February, April 2015, because then you can move on. I mean, it's in everyone's interests.
Councillor Livingston acknowledges EQC still has a heavy task to resolve.
The Minister doesn't want any obstacles. I appreciate that. And I think insurance is one of the biggest obstacles. If we can get the claims settled, it just means people can recover faster. And as far as things economic go, you can get the city up and running, even quicker. So I just don't know why we wouldn't do that.
800 residents were surveyed across the region. Many believe the cause behind stress-related illnesses is compounded by insurance. Councillor Livingston says it's difficult to watch Cantabrians still dealing internally with the aftermath of the earthquakes.
You wonder what it does to their self, what it does to them on the inside, and their energy levels. What it does to their spirits, it's pretty tough to see that.
Councillor Livingston says solving insurance issues will boost recovery.
Insurance is also housing, it's also health. So why wouldn't you resolve claims sooner? You'd get people, you'd enhance your kind of social recovery, and it would also enhance the economic recovery. People would be back into work sooner, contributing, their productivity would increase.
The Christchurch City Council expects to have its own insurance decision payout by the end of the year. Joelle Batista, CTV News.
And an Insurance Council spokesman says while insurers would like a clear deadline for finalising overcapped claims, he says it's simply not a possibility. 50% of overcapped claims have been settled and finalised, 40% are still in resolution, and 10% of homeowners are still yet to make final decisions on work is still continuing. The spokesman says insurers are still receiving overcapped claims from EQC, and around 1,200 customers are still to make decisions on their offers. Well, coming up, the Christchurch Mayor reflects on her challenging first year.
Join Graham Sinclair and the team at Gone Fishin' as they bring you great stories, fishing tips and beautiful scenery. Gone Fishin', Friday night at 8:30, right here on CTV.
Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the airgun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
Just 7 minutes north of Christchurch, Silverstream is a unique residential community carefully planned and developed within a rich and natural environment. A family home or terraced villas, Silverstream offers a wide range of living options for every stage of life. The show homes are open. You can select your section, design your home and choose your builder. Purchase the house and land package or the terraced villa for streamside living. Silverstream, a community for everyone. It's closer than you think.
Action Removals, offering short or long-term storage facilities, full packing services, comprehensive rates, all fully insured and with 6 vehicle sizes to choose from. Earthquake repairs? Action Removals pack, move, store and return your valuable possessions stress-free. Action Removals, a family business that has been operating in Christchurch for over 10 years. Action Removals, your one-stop removal service on time, every time. 0800 222 526.
Take a Break showcases some of the best that the South Island has to offer. From fun-filled adventures, great places to eat and stay, and of course beautiful scenic landscapes. Take a Break, Wednesday 8 p.m.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, work on the controversial Avon River precinct is set to begin with a hefty price tag. The project will cost at least $100 million, but is it all worth it? Emma Cropper caught up with the man responsible for the Anchor project.
Redefining the relationship between the city and the river, the first phase of the Avon River precinct is underway, constructing grassed areas, tiered seating and decks leading to the water's edge.
So what we've got on the other side there is we've got grass banks on the southern end. We've got in the middle there terraced stairways and seating down into the river, so that'd be fantastic to be able to get right down to the river's edge.
The $4 million terrace waterfront project links the Avon River with public spaces, shops, restaurants and offices.
So this, I guess, will become kind of a hub for Christchurch locals, won't it?
Yes, I think both sides of the river designed so where people can come enjoy the river. They can have a wee break from the work during the working day, also go and have a meal, do some shopping in the retail precinct and just really enjoy the renewed environment.
Work redeveloping the area is set to begin this week. Once completed, more than 100,000 plants and shrubs will have been planted along the river's edge.
The necessary soil and topsoil will be removed, recontoured, put in place the concrete and paving that's required, put the soil back in place, regrass it and also put the shrubs and the water gardens in place, and then by mid next year it'll be looking fantastic and new and people will be able to get in and really enjoy it.
As part of the promenade feature, the Christchurch tram is also receiving a makeover.
We're just realigning those. Obviously in the earthquake they suffered some damage and got out of line of it, so we're realigning those, getting them to the right height so that we can put the new surfacing around them.
The project includes 8,500 square metres of rain gardens, replacing the curb and channel on the road with an environmentally friendly method.
Which is something that will deal with the runoff from the hard surfaces before it gets into the river and do some of the cleansing of the water. So when the water makes contact with the river itself, it is a bit cleaner than what it was when it started coming off the roadway.
These riffles along the Avon River, promoting a clean, green image in the city.
We've cleaned the river out and of the impacts of the earthquake, taking the silt out. A lot of nice shingles there now. We want to keep those clean for the ecology in the river, so we've narrowed it down. If you actually get close to the river, you can hear the river running now, and it provides a much better environment for the water life to come back.
The project will include 3.2 kilometres of dedicated cycle paths. This first section is due to be completed in May. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
A group of cyclists are pedalling their way around New Zealand to raise awareness for an illness that affects far too many of us. Emma Cropper caught up with the Lycra crowd doing their bit to raise awareness for depression.
They're riding around New Zealand to raise awareness for mental health, and these cyclists are hoping their trip from Bluff to Cape Reinga will shed light on one of the country's hidden killers.
Spread awareness of suicide and depression in New Zealand because it's been swept under the carpet for a very long time, and we have quite horrifying suicide stats in this country, so we just felt we wanted to do something about it.
The country loses 3 New Zealanders every 2 days to depression. That's twice as many people to suicide than road accidents.
Most people don't seem to know that, or they're not aware of it, so the more we can raise awareness of the issue, the more likely we are to be able to put better preventative measures in place.
Speaking to school students along their journey, they stopped off at Hagley Community College to spread awareness.
It's quite inspirational because you get to travel New Zealand on bikes and having support groups behind you.
After experiencing the 2011 quakes, local students believe the city has been through a lot.
We've been through quite a lot, and it's quite sad how people go through depression just because of that. People can just get over it by having somebody to talk to and someone to help, have someone to help.
In 2011, the Ride Out of the Blue cyclists raised $30,000. This year, organisers hope to build on that with a target of $50,000. And the reason they've decided to do this by cycling...
It's one of those sports where if you're riding in a group, you can help each other. If somebody's having a bad time, then they can go and sit at the back and be dragged along a bit, and that's just like life. You got people around you who can help you get to your destination. And then, as Sal just said, as long as you keep turning the pedals, no matter what's thrown at you, you will get to your destination, and that's just like life.
With many of the riders cycling for personal reasons.
Well, I think most of us have been close to somebody who's taken their own lives, and it's just such a final thing for somebody to do, and it's preventable, and so we just feel that a lot more has to be done in this country.
Money raised from their journey will go towards the Mental Foundation Mindfulness in Schools project, which aims to prevent the development of childhood mental distress by encouraging positive mental health practices for children at primary school levels. The cycling crew will leave Canterbury tomorrow before heading north to complete their trip. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Canterbury judo players have come out on top at this year's national championships right here in our city. Our Commonwealth medalist took out the gold medal. Emma Cropper has the details.
Making their mark on the scoreboard, local judo players are all smiles following the weekend's national championships. Canterbury judo players took out 5 of the 8 senior national men's crowns. After picking up bronze at the Commonwealth Games, Jason Costa proved he was one of New Zealand's best by winning both his weight category and the Opens. He trains the next generation of players coming through and believes their hard work is what pays off.
To be fair, I think we train extremely hard. Obviously you always say that about yourself, but the dedication that these guys are showing, and the promise and commitment at the age they're at, they've got the right training ethic and the work ethic.
Oisin Roberts proved his last-minute practice paid off by winning his division. Teammates James and Sam Entwistle were hoping to defend last year's titles and pick up another gold.
I'm feeling pretty confident, pretty fresh, I've been training really hard, so I think the results will come.
After the national championships, the Entwistle brothers picked up a bronze medal. The athletes will be back into training for next year's competition, with the hopes of one day standing on the podium at the Olympic Games. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Still to come, your weekend sports and the regional weather.
The mission statement of Red and Black Sport is always to bring a voice to achievers in sport, be it Canterbury, New Zealand or internationally. We'll continue to do that here on CTV with Red and Black Sport. Don't miss it every week.
Hi, I'm Caitlin, the naturopath here at Staywell Pharmacy. Working with the pharmacist, I use herbal and nutritional medicine to recommend natural alternatives for your health. This can be to counteract any side effects of your medication, general health advice, or natural options for you and your family. I'm also available for consultations. So come in and see us at Staywell Pharmacy, 27 Shands Road, Hornby. Staywell Pharmacy, live well, stay well.
It's Blackwell's Holden Demolition Sale, with prices on selected demonstrators that'll blow you away. Cruise SRIV $31,990, Farina CDX $21,990, Captiva CX Diesel $39,990, Holden Spark $14,990, and Trax LTZ $31,990. The clock's ticking. These prices could blow any second. Call Blackwell's Holden Softburn today.
Avoid the monkeys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options are also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring, moving company.
Oi!
Come in and meet the locals at the Bush Inn Centre. Whether it's to grab a coffee on the go or to catch up with a friend over lunch or dinner, the Bush Inn Centre is the perfect place. With our unique range of shops, you'll find everything you're looking for and more. Our friendly locals are always happy to help. We have plenty of parking at the Bush Inn Centre, making your shopping experience just a little bit easier. So come in, meet the locals and shop Bush Inn. You'll find us on the corner of Riccarton and Waimari Roads.
Kids television is right here on CTV. Tune in every Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. for an exciting range of fantastic kids programming. Join in with all the fun Saturday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on CTV.
Now here's Gordon Finlater with the region's sport update.
Canterbury's 6-year dominance of provincial rugby has come to an end after the side were held tryless by an all-impressive Tasman side on Saturday night. Tasman got off to the perfect start in Nelson, with James Lowe getting the better of the bounce after a Jimmy Cowan box kick, making Canterbury fullback Richie Moanga look silly in the process. A string of penalty conversions had Canterbury holding Tasman close at 10 points to 6 nearing the halfway mark. However, it would be Tasman going into the break with all of the momentum after Jimmy Cowan turned try scorer to give the Marcos an 11-point halftime buffer. The second half would see no tries, with the Red and Blacks going scoreless, while Tasman added some comfort to their margin. The boot of Marty Banks all but wrapping up the match in the 72nd minute. Tasman's 26-6 win means they will now travel to New Plymouth on Saturday to take on Taranaki in the Premiership final. Our Canterbury women's rugby side season also came to an end on Saturday at the hands of defending champs Auckland. The 50-27 loss at Rugby Park meant that Canterbury were reliant on Counties Manukau upsetting Waikato if they were still a chance of progressing to the final, but it was not the case as the Red and Blacks bowed out of the competition. The National Rugby League player ineligibility saga we reported on last week finally came to an end on Saturday, with the Canterbury Bulls claiming this year's national title. Firstly, the final was expected to be played between the Akarana Falcons and Counties Manukau. After fielding an ineligible player during the season, Counties were out and it was Canterbury joining Akarana. However, Counties were then back in against Canterbury after Akarana were also docked 2 competition points after fielding an ineligible player of their own. Well, if you, like me, thought the drama was over, then you were in fact wrong. In a late decision, the 4th place Waikau Bay Stallions were given little more than 24 hours notice to prepare the side for the grand final. The match itself was all Canterbury, with the Bulls making it a one-sided affair, running away with it 40 points to 8. The new-look Hagley Oval got its first taste of international cricket on Friday when Canterbury hosted Scotland in a 50-over match as the Scots continue their build-up to next year's Cricket World Cup. New boy Cameron Fletcher was one of the stars for Canterbury as the former Northern District's 21-year-old wicket-keeper batsman notched an unbeaten 73 to help his side chase down Scotland's total of 270. Canterbury's domestic season begins on Saturday, with the defending Plunket Shield champs hosting Wellington in a 4-day match at Hagley Oval. And finally tonight, the Heartland Rugby Championship has found its finalists for the Meads and Lahore Cups. South Canterbury came close in Timaru, but weren't strong enough to get up over rivals North Otago, who advanced to the second-tier Lahore Cup final, where they will take on Wanganui. In the Meads Cup, Mid-Canterbury grabbed a hard-fought win in Gisborne to keep their chances of a second straight title alive. Their opponents in the final will be Buller, who kept their perfect record this season, accounting for Horowhenua Kapiti. You're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Finlater for CTV Sport.
Thank you, Gordon. Now time to check out your weather.
Kia ora Canterbury, let's take a look at your region's weather. First in Timaru, Temuka and Geraldine, 18 degrees. Looking now at Ashburton, Methven and Ricard, they hit a high of 19. Darfield, 18. Leeston and Ralston hitting a high of 19. Lincoln and Christchurch taking out one of the highs of the region on 19. Over in Akaroa, a warm day reaching a high of 20 degrees. Heading north, Rangiora, Kaipoi and Amberley reached a high of 20 degrees. At the very top in Kaikoura, they had the region's high of 21. But what's in store for tomorrow? In Timaru, fine and sunny with northeasterly winds are expected, hitting an overnight low of 1 and a high of 14 degrees. Ashburton, light frosts at dawn, then fine and sunny tomorrow, with cool northeasterly breezes expected, hitting -1 overnight and a high of 14 degrees. Christchurch expected to be cold tonight and cool tomorrow, with plenty of sunshine and the usual northeasterly breezes, hitting 1 degree overnight and a high of 14 throughout your day. You could watch from your window. At the top in Kaikoura, fine and sunny with northeasterly winds, 1 degree overnight and a high of 14 throughout your day. And in other areas around the region, Temuka and Geraldine fine in the morning with a high of 14. Methven and Ricard hitting a high of 14 and an overnight low of -1. Darfield, Leeston and Ralston fine for most parts of the day, reaching a high of 14 degrees. Looking at Lincoln, expect fine weather and a high of 14. Over in Akaroa, 14 throughout the day, getting down to just 3 overnight. Rangiora, Kaipoi and Amberley fine for most parts of the day with a high of 14. Looking at Colvin and Cheviot and Hanmer Springs, -1 overnight and a high of 14 degrees. And looking ahead for what's in store for the rest of Canterbury. Fine on Wednesday with sunny periods and some cloud and moderate northeasterlies. Mostly fine and sunny on Thursday with milder northerlies developing and some high cloud expected, with showers and cold southwesterlies developing at night. Showers clearing and sunny periods increasing during the day on Friday, with fresh cold southwest winds easing out, becoming cold on Friday night with light frosts possible. Fine and sunny with some high cloud on Saturday. Expect moderate northeasterlies and high cloud increasing during the day on Sunday, with milder northwesterlies freshening throughout the afternoon. And that is all for your region's weather. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
And that is CTV News this Monday. I'm Chris Lynch. It's a pleasure to be with you. We'll do it all again tomorrow night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.